it's Michelle from the Bead Gallery, and today I'm going to show you how to do a baby knots bracelet. What we're going to use is about 1 yard of microcord. This is a nylon cord that we carry. And I have a little starter pack here of findings for some thread work. What it includes is 2 bead tips, a soldered ring, and a clasp. So I'm going to use this as my findings pack. And I have some beads. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a knot in the middle of my microcord. Okay, so I'm going to start by tying like a surgeon type knot. I'm going to pull it towards the middle. You want it to be kind of centered, like this. And if you want to make that knot a little bit bigger, we can tie a couple more knots and aim it to sit on that first knot that we did. Like this. Next, I'm going to string on one of my bead tips. So bead tips are like a little cup with a hook. And I'm going to string my bead tip, so I'm going from the inside of the cup to the outside, so my knot sits in the cup. And you have to get both strings through the hole, like this. Okay. At this point, I'm going to attach my clasp, so I have something to anchor my piece into this macrame board that I'm going to use to make knotting my project easier. So to attach the clasp, you see there's this little hook here, a hook on the clasp. And I'm just going to use a chain nose plier to kind of squeeze that hook down. Or pull and then squeeze, whichever's easier. Now you can also use a different kind of finding called a clamshell. So basically a clamshell looks kind of like a little clam that you can hide your knot completely in. But I like bead tips in this case because they're very small. Okay. And then I'm going to anchor my project by sticking the clasp that I just attached into one of the slots of my macrame board. And I really want to anchor my project down because then it'll make tying square knots easier. Okay, so I'm going to start by tying a square knot. So that's just like, it's like tying your shoe. You do once, and you do it a second time. So now I have a square knot tied right up against my bead tip. And then I'm going to start by stringing on my first bead. And in baby knots, we have 2 strings that we use. In this case, it's 2 ends of the same string, but you can use 2 totally different strings if you want. And you're going to string a bead on just one of the threads that we're using. Then we're going to tie a square knot. And the reason why you want to anchor your piece to something is that it makes it much easier to keep your knot near the hole of the bead rather than it kind of crawling down the side. So that's a square knot. And then you can string another bead on the other string. So you're going to alternate which side you which side you string the bead on. My second bead. This. Okay. And you just keep going until the bracelet is the length you want. I'm going to keep stringing here, and I'll be back in just a minute to show you how to finish off this project. And I'm back. I just about finished knotting my bracelet here. I think I'm going to add one more bead just to finish. The nice thing about having it anchored on the macrame board is that you can get an approximate length so you know about how long your bracelet currently is. I have to add about 3/4 of an inch for the clasp. So right now it's just under 6 inches without the clasp. So we're going to add one more bead. And we're going to tie our last square knot at the end of the beaded section. Okay, and then we're going to put on our second bead tip. But this time we're going to string from the outside of the cup to the inside. Again, we have to get both strings through the hole at the bottom of the bead tip. And sometimes this can be a little tricky because that hole is really tiny. So if you have trouble, sometimes trimming the string at an angle really helps. There we go. Okay, so now I have both my strings inside my bead tip, and I'm going to tie a few knots that will sit inside the cup. Okay. So you can do a surgeon style knot, meaning going around twice like this if you want. Okay. And then we'll do that maybe one more time. So I have several knots in the bead tip, and I'm ready to seal my knots with some glue. And you don't want to squeeze it too much or else we'll get glue all over the place, but we want to put quite a bit of glue on the knot itself.
Is there a specific type of glue we should be using?
I really like this Hypo Tube Cement. It's what we use for all our knotted projects. And the really nice thing about it is it has that fine needle applicator, so you can get really precision application of your glue. Okay, so I'm going to pull the thread just a little bit to get the glue sucked into the knot, and we'll let it dry. Once it dries, I'm going to trim away the ends of my thread. You can use a really sharp scissors or my wire cutter. And then I'm going to attach the second side of my clasp, which is going to be this ring over here. Okay, I'm going to pull the hook down just a little so it's a little bit smaller, the gap. Okay, and we're going to squeeze that hook down. You want to squeeze it so that there is no gap between the hook and the cup of the bead tip. Okay, and there we have it, our baby knots knotted bracelet. So it is a very easy project to do. It's great for beginners. We hope you will try it one day soon. And if you really like this project and you like this video, please subscribe to our channel on YouTube, The Bead Gallery, and we hope we'll see you again. Thank you.